Hey everyone, welcome back and thank you for tuning into the Lily Knits YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to work the woven knit stitch used in my Oasis baby blanket pattern. Although you can knit the woven stitch with just one color, I'll show you in this video that it's also a fun way to incorporate color work into your knitting without having to use two strands at the same time. So it's really a good introduction to color work. I've included a link to the pattern for the baby blanket, which is posted for free on my website in the description below this video. So make sure you check it out after watching and learning about this beautiful textured stitch. Okay, so we're beginning with already 2 rows being worked in the woven knit stitch, and I'm going to start adding white and continuing on with the woven knit stitch. So you can see how to add a new color and also how to work the stitch at the same time. So you insert your you insert your needle into the first stitch, and then we want to add a new color. So we don't cut our existing color because every 2 rows we're going to keep going back and forth with the colors. So if you keep cutting them off, you're going to have a lot of ends to weave in. So I'm going to start knitting with my white. And I like to do it by holding it in front of the yarn that I'm not going to use anymore, and then wrap it around and knit. So I'm funny, like I like to knit with my first stitch using my right hand, like throwing the yarn, and then I switch to continental style, but you guys can, do it however you prefer. Oops. Okay. So I've knit my first stitch, and that's just an edge stitch. It's not actually part of how we do the woven knit stitch, but it just makes the ends look prettier. And in my pattern, I actually have 4 end stitches on each side for the border, and they're in a seed stitch. Okay, so for my first stitch, I'm going to yarn forward. So the yarn right now is at the back of the hook, so I want to bring it forward, and then slip my first stitch like so, and you can see that I've created like a little line on top, and then I knit the next stitch. So yarn back and knit. So we keep repeating this: yarn forward, slip, yarn back, knit, yarn forward, slip, yarn back, knit, and you just continue this all the way down to the end of the row. So I'm just working on a small swatch here just to give you an idea of how to do it. This stitch needs a odd number of stitches, so just keep that in mind if you want to make your own design with it. You would just need an odd number and then plus whatever you want for the border stitch. Okay, so now I'm at my last 2 stitches. So my last stitch is just an end stitch, which is knit. And my second last stitch, I want to bring my yarn forward, slip the stitch, and then do the last stitch with however I plan to do it. So if I was going to purl it, I would just purl like so. But in this case, I want to knit it. So I have to bring the yarn to the back to knit it, and then I knit the stitch. And you can see that it's already starting to look like a nice woven stitch. And you can see the white on top of the green. And also note that every alternate stitch is green, and every other one is also white. So you can tell if you made a mistake if you see 2 whites or 2 greens in a row. So that's just a way to know that you're doing it properly. Okay, so now I'm on the purl side of my work, and I'm just gonna complete the woven stitch because it's really just a repeat of 2 rows, and yeah, it's really that simple. So I knit my first stitch. Oh, my yarns are all tangled, hold on. Okay, so I knit my first stitch. And then I purl, so that's just my edge stitch. So that's not actually part of the pattern. So now I'm starting the pattern. So I purl my first stitch, and you can see that it's a green stitch. So you know that you're doing it right if you're purling a green stitch or opposite color that you're working with. and then yarn back and slip the next stitch purlwise. So I have my yarn to the back. So before it was in the front, I brought it to the back and I slip it purlwise, like so, and then yarn forward and purl the next stitch. And then yarn back and slip the next stitch purlwise. And you can see all of my greens are starting to disappear. So that's how I know that I'm not making a mistake. Because at the end of this row, they should all of the stitches on my needle should be white. So I can, oops, I made, oh wait, no, this is right. So I purl. And I just continue on to the end. You actually get into a nice rhythm and won't really have to think about it. It's so easy. Just remember, on the purl rows, you bring the yarn to the back when you slip. And on the knit rows, you bring the yarn to the front when you slip. Okay, so now I'm on my last stitch and, sorry, last two stitches. So my last one, I bring the yarn forward, purl, and then I work my last stitch just however I'm supposed to. See, it's a little bit loose because I hadn't tied it off, but you can tie them off before you continue on. So I'm just going to knit my last stitch, like so. And I have completed 2 rows with my second color, which is white in this case, of the woven knit stitch, and this is what it looks like. So I've worked 2 rows with the white color, and now I want to switch back to my greenish mint color. So again, what I do is I drop my white, but I don't cut it, or else I'm going to have a lot of ends to weave in. And I just simply take the yarn for my minty green color, and I knit the first stitch because it's my end stitch, and then I start the woven knit pattern. So I yarn forward, slip the first stitch, yarn backward, knit the next stitch. And you can see I'm actually like, it looks like a little V here, and I'm just creating a little hat for it. That's how I know I'm doing it correctly. So you can see when I bring the yarn on top, it creates a nice little, it closes off the V. And then I knit the next stitch. And that's at the end of my row. So I'm just going to continue as I have shown. When I purl back, I turn my needles. I knit the edge stitch, purl the first stitch, and yarn back, slip the next stitch purlwise, yarn forward, purl. So I slip all of the stitches that are the same color as the yarn that I'm working with, and I purl the ones that are the opposite color. And there you have it, the woven knit stitch. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can get the free pattern for the Oasis baby blanket from my website, www.lilyknits.com.